Welcome to a 1v1 on Einhoven Country. Paul versus InkyDinky, who I believe is a Korean player. Paul's Chinese, so this game will be from the Asian community, I think. Yeah, InkyDinky's Steam profile says Korea, so Asian community this game. And Paul is playing as Soviets. Paul is has a pretty impressive Allied track record this patch. He's up to plus 51 streak as US forces, plus 50 streak as Soviets last time I checked, so he's just annihilating everything with Allies this patch. So if you want to improve your Allied game, you can pay attention to what he's doing here. InkyDinky playing as Oberkommando West in the north, going with Kuba Wagon opening into Scavenge Commander, so they both know exactly what they want to do. Kuba Wagon will suppress these conscripts as they try and jump this fence. Sternpios will force a retreat though. No choice. Conscripts grabbing that strategic point right there, and wire being thrown on the fuel here in the south.
Target secure.
For whatever reason, seems to keep those combat engineers laying wire. Some players lay wire not because for any actual strategic reason, just because they just need. I think it's like kind of like in StarCraft when people spam APM just to keep themselves doing something, keep themselves warmed up. Just throwing barbed wire on the point just to give him something to do while he's capturing the sector. There's not that many units to manage in the beginning, so you just kind of establish that habit. Paul's not the only player I've seen do that. Captain Price does that a lot as well. Seems to be popular among high-rank players. Sternpios grab the munitions. And no tech structure yet. The truck is pulled all the way back into the Oberkommando West base after doing minor pushing during the opening engagement. Another squad of conscripts will be forced to retreat from the munitions point right there.
Prepare for combat. Mission accomplished. Ready to execute.
Stern Pioneers will be able to get that back under their control. Very light opening engagements. There's an M3 with the flamethrower, gonna catch that Volksgrenadier squad quite close to base though, and the route that this M3 is taking means that they're gonna get away easily enough. He's gonna try and get behind that Kuba Wagon. I don't think Paul has planted any mines yet. Or not Paul, InkyDinky. I don't think InkyDinky's planted any mines yet. Paul's not gonna be able to catch up to that thing in time. This map's pretty big, so if the M3 reveals itself on the other half of the map, that Kuba Wagon has plenty of time to react, and there's the Raketenwerfer going 3 Volks Raketenwerfer and Kuba Wagon before the first tech structure means it's going to be pretty late tech this game. Pretty late tech, and clearly InkyDinky is having trouble getting control of any fuel points.
Target secured.
Raketenwerfer nicely placed for that M3. Paul will squeak behind that hedge, but it looks like the orders he was issuing that M3 caused it to maneuver in an inefficient way. It was really slow to get behind a vision blocker. Either he was like spamming conflicting commands or couldn't decide if he wanted to reverse or what, but either way the Raketenwerfer got 2 shots off. M3 goes down. Flamethrower will be forced to retreat. Paul's going with penals. Extra squad of penal battalion. The penal battalion's not all that popular, but I guess he's going to try and make that work. Grabbing the munitions with it now. He does have a big fuel advantage. He held this fuel point for a long time. Clearly, Paul is not prioritizing VPs, at least not early on. He's going to, as a result of that, start the game with a 100 victory point deficit as he tries to engage extremely aggressively at the beginning. Playing completely around the munitions and fuel points, at least at first, trying to prevent any scary Open Commando West units from arriving for the first several minutes. Flak half-track is in production now, and that arriving at 6.5 minutes or so is not that early. And on this map, he might struggle to get that into position to wipe any of Paul's squads. Could prove difficult. Kuba Wagon doing some damage to the Penal Battalion right there. We'll suppress it. And they immediately stand back up. Did you see that? I've never seen a squad be suppressed for such a short amount of time. That was kind of funny. They do jump back up. Volksgrenadiers will force the retreat though. These Volksgrenadiers grabbing control of the right side munitions, and conscripts are taking control of the right side VP, while Volksgrenadiers grab the left side. Volksgrenadiers grabbing the munitions over there on the right side and on the left side also simultaneously, so full munitions control has gone to the OKW. And there's the first squad of Jaeger Lights deployed out of this building, but they'll retreat away from it once this flamethrower moves up to engage and push them back. Conscripts in green cover will win against this lone Volksgrenadier squad harassment. And I think Paul's going to start fielding guards soon. He has hit 2 command points, just needs to get the manpower together. Just dropped a lot of manpower on the AT grenade research plus field infirmary. So having gone 3 and tier 1, so 3 conscripts, penal battalion, 2 base upgrades, scout car. Takes him until about 7-minute mark to get these guards on the field. Now that he has them, though, he'll have a pretty effective counter to the flak half track, which is going to... Did I just hear it firing? No, I guess not. Going to be a bit of a problem. If it gets too close to these conscripts, it will be exposed to anti-tank grenades, though. I don't think Paul has noticed this engagement happening. He notices a little late, and he's not going to make it in time. Has to retreat. Oh, jeez. I think they're dead. Jaegers wiped them. The lucky snipe, but he's not monitoring this Kuba Wagon on the left side during that, and that, I think it'll go down. And there it goes. Small arms fire. Nicely played by Paul on the left side, but it does cost him his conscripts on the right. There's the AT grenade on the flag half track. It's targeting conscripts. Might get the wipe. Yes, it does. It does get the wipe. Guards have not yet fired their PTRSs, and he needs to get out of range. But he doesn't get clear in time. The Raketenwerfer will rotate and wipe another M3. Guards have to retreat immediately, and that flag half track will emerge successful in this engagement. I'm surprised he didn't just hop out and just try and kill it. Penal battalions with their flamethrower moving up to engage in this house, and Paul is falling way behind in this game. Penal battalion falling quite low, needs to retreat right there. Paul currently has hardly any infantry remaining. A lot of manpower went into his upgrades and tech, and M3s, 2 M3s dead, which is going to leave him with a 5 squad army against his 6 squad army plus flak half track. Okay, pretty rough situation to be in, especially when the map is mostly red. If he had total map control, he could afford to engage, maybe not super cost effectively, but when you also don't have map control, that's the last thing you want to be happening. No Molotov research from Paul, so he has no way to turn these engagements in his favor without superior numbers, jumping that flamethrower into the engagement. Force that retreat. We'll start taking the munitions over here back. Volksgrenadiers are going to grab the strategic point before heading right. Stern Pios with flak half track making their way into the center. Apparently InkyDinky has been lucky in this game. I'm not sure what he means. Although some of those flak half tracks wipes actually have been really good. But I don't know if I would say that that's luck. It's been really well positioned in the retreat path of the two squad. Either the retreat path or at extremely close range. Either way. Good Rakettenwerfer for positioning also. Sealed those kills on the on both of those M3s actually. No mines though. I think mines might have made some certain amount of sense against this really heavy tier 1. That's going to be a third scout car very soon.
Mission accomplished. In contact with flamethrower team.
Penal Battalion here in the south forces away that Volksgrenadier squad with their flamethrower. Get that victory point under control. Conscripts need to stay in their green cover. They need to retreat regardless. They can't win this. Won't be able to get that fuel point. Good harassment though will slow things down for InkyDinky. Has to move to get this back under control. Paul is trying to split his opponent's army up by spreading himself out all over the map. Try and get as much territory under control as he can. There's a second Jaeger Light Infantry squad jumping into this house.
Return fire! Return fire!
Oh, good. Ficton Moped is here. Hey, Ficton, can you portalize my news announcement? I mean, I already made the news announcement. If you could just like look it over, if you could look that over and like set it to visible, I would appreciate it. Thanks, Ficton. A T grenade tossed at the flak half track right there. It's gonna fall low. Guards are in another M3, bringing it to pretty low health. Their PTRSs. Again, needs to be careful with this thing. Way ahead of me. All right, good. That's good news. Thank you, Ficton. I appreciate it. Penal Battalion manages to secure control of this house. Considering how many Jaeger lights have popped out of this thing, if I were Paul, I might even consider blowing this house up with flamethrower. It would take a little while though. Having control of it for now at least will prevent further Jaegers from jumping in there. Guards moving up to engage from the left. Flak half track being repaired here in the back on the road. Another M3 making, or no, that's the same M3. Making its way to engage over here, try and push those Jaegers out of their position and cover. Penals leave the house to engage at closer range. Both squads of infantry there will be forced away. Volksgrenadiers moving across the road. Continue looking for opportunities against Paul. Maybe try and blow up that M3. Jumps in green cover. Just continue engaging against the house from now. Flak half track firing on the conscripts. Gets one lucky burst which will suppress the squad, but otherwise can't seem to do very much damage. Paul will field a heavy mortar. See if he can damage some of these infantry or flush them from cover that way. And it looks like we're going to see the next tech structure built. Tier 2 and Tier 3 have both been thrown up in the base. Very defensive positioning on these. I think on this map you can at least put the Tier 2 like right here maybe. I don't know. You're not really in that much danger from heavy mortars unless you build it in a very aggressive location like right there. That's going to be a Tier 4, I guess. I don't know what I think about that Tier 4 positioning. On the one hand, it'll protect against any infantry getting super aggressive across this field, but it won't protect the center VP or anything, so sort of like a semi-aggressive positioning. Oh no! Paul just spotted it with his M3 as he was making a flank with his guards. I don't know if that's going to complete. I don't know. It's going to be kind of close. They'd pop out of the M3 before it's destroyed. It's going to start firing on it, I think. He's taking damage from Jaegers in the north and Volksgrenadiers from the right side, and it looks like he's not even going to try to destroy that because he needs to try and get in range to win this engagement, but he's already won. Guard rifles managed to destroy that thing with their PTRSs, so he loses his M3, but he does take out the flak half track over here on the left side, so kind of a weird trade. It's kind of a strange series of engagements. M3 got taken out. This thing doesn't even take a scratch. Now that the flak half track is dead, InkyDinky might be thinking about going Panzer II, but at the same time he needs to be thinking about the T-34s that Paul's about to field. He's going to hit 10 command points quite soon. He's got a ton of fuel in the bank, so it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. The fuel expenditures that he's made are going to prevent him from having an anti-tank vehicle of his own anytime soon. No Jagdpanzer IV and no Panther even remotely soon, so he needs to start preparing, and he has 4 Panzerschrecks already on the field, plus a Raketenwerfer. If he gets 1 more Raketenwerfer, he should be pretty comfortable. But it's going to be hard to take on all of Paul's infantry with really just 2 Jaegerlights as his only real anti-infantry units at this point.
Taking fire! Counterattacks! Stormtroopers under fire!
I don't think that heavy mortar's done much. Oh, I guess it has. 7 kills already. Wow. I missed it. Grenade tossed on Paul's clump right there. Ooh, jeez. That was a nice grenade. Really close to losing a squad right there. Pretty big heavy mortar hit though. And there goes that guard rifle squad's Jaeger light infantry. Flamethrower jumping in the building. Trying to unseat some of this Axis infantry. Paul is so boxed in right now, losing control of the entire map, losing control of this strategic point. Infiltration grenades are a little off target. Wow, his mortar just wrecked his own conscript squad. That was kind of an unlucky hit. He'll have to retreat that. Can't tell who's winning this engagement. I guess Paul will probably force that squad away. Heavy mortar hit brings him quite low. Should win the engagement for Paul, but he's lost control of his cutoff. His fuel's about to get captured. He's completely boxed into his base, has no territory. The fuel is ticking in super quick for InkyDinky, who actually might get a Panther out before Paul can get T-34s because of his manpower bleed. Huge manpower bleed. He only has 100 manpower right now at the time when he needs to be grabbing his hull in tanks. Folks Grenadiers will retreat from the right side. Paul briefly managing to break his containment and get some territory back while his opponent is retreating and healing. Because he has no forward retreat point, it's going to take a long time for him to get back onto the battlefield and try and set up a contain on Paul again. So a couple squads going left, a couple squads going right. I think Paul hasn't quite made his mind up whether he wants to backcap or engage. These 2 squads making their way back towards the center to assist against these Folks Grenadiers. Conscripts jumping into some green cover for now, although they have to take a kind of awkward path to do so. Penal Battalion moving up from this angle will force that retreat. Jaegers moving right. Heavy mortar is up to 8 kills and is bombarding the Tier 4 structure. Those Sturms should be careful about repairing a structure that's under mortar fire. Flamethrower squad is heading left to get this point under control. Paul might consider a demo charge. He's got a pretty decent amount of munitions right now. Conscripts in green cover need to engage those Jaegers with Penal Battalion from the flank. Should be able to win this engagement easily enough. And Paul, having had a break from combat for a little while, starting to get some manpower coming in again. He'll be able to get those T-34s quite soon.
Indirect fire! Displace! Ceasefire! Check him!
Penal Battalion will probably be able to force this retreat. Infiltration grenades are largely off target. Minor damage to that penal squad. Guards should be able to force this retreat, plus the flamethrower gets a couple crits. And there they go. Barely getting away, I think. There they go. Heavy mortar continues bombarding this area, but it hasn't done anything too catastrophic yet. Hasn't hit those Sturms yet. Slowly falling low. And a counterattack is on the flank here from this Jaeger squad. Volksgrenadiers grabbing the fuel. Meanwhile, on the left, flamethrower versus Volksgrenadiers. Infiltration grenades might win the engagement. Paul notices just in time. And Volksgrenadiers will retreat. Penal Battalion's going to have to retreat in a second as well. Infantry support. Ooh! There's the T-3485s. Wipes the Jaeger squad as soon as they hit the field, and they're going straight for the Tier 4 structure. There is a Raketenwerfer available to protect over here. Paul needs to be careful. Pulling back a little bit, not wanting to engage. I get with that Raketenwerfer right there, and he's going to try and push away these Volksgrenadiers instead. There he goes, forces that retreat. Conscripts are making their way to get the fuel back under control in retaliation. Mortar will retreat away after taking pretty heavy damage from, I think, the infantry support gun, I guess. No, it doesn't have any kills. I guess Jaegers brought it down pretty low. Flamethrower continues its advance. Still no demo charges from Paul. He's got 250 munitions, so he must be wanting to use that. Use that munitions for something else. Maybe some flamethrower spam. He's going to get some more combat engineers on the field now, not to mention self-repair. It's pretty munitions expensive. Couple squads reinforcing and healing in the base, and there's the Jagdpanzer from InkyDinky. I don't know, I think Panther would have made more sense. He had 175 fuel as of right this moment. Could have queued up the Panther right now. The Jagdpanzer on this map will be really good though, so I would just say Panther just because it's so much easier to use. Because it has a turret. A turret is just really nice. But the Jagdpanzer has more raw firepower, so whatever you think you can more effectively get away with. I find that T-34s against the Jagdpanzer are pretty strong, though, especially with marked vehicle. If they catch it out of position for even a second, they can just kill it. Had to plug in my headphones.
Indirect fire! Displace! For orders. I can say wholeheartedly thank you. Enemy flanking us!
Heavy Mortar just keeps pounding away at the Tier 4 structure. Since it's been pounding away at that, it doesn't really have that many kills, but it is vetting up pretty quick, getting a lot of damage dealt. It does have access to Precision Strike now, which means it could probably instantly clear whatever team weapon it wants to. You can take out the infantry support gun, you can take out a Raketenwerfer if you spotted one. Where is the Raketenwerfer? Oh, it's in the base right now. T-34s have been fully repaired and are making their way left. Push away those Jaeger light infantry. Volksgrenadiers taking control of the victory point as well. Slowly repairing the Tier 4. Again, under mortar fire. It's dangerous. Hasn't been punished for it yet, though. Generally, I say it's just a matter of time. But at this distance, I don't know. They might get wiped. Conscripts engaging Volksgrenadiers here on the right side, and the T-34s continue to just look for opportunities on the flanks rather than making a frontal assault and trying to destroy anything, but this position is kind of lightly defended. I feel like Paul might be able to get away with destroying that. Could be close though with the Jagdpanzer on the field. I don't know if Paul has seen that yet though. It hasn't fired at anything yet, or at least hasn't hit anything yet. Wow, that was a nice volley. Squad just got wiped instantly. This one is going to retreat immediately because he doesn't want that squad to suffer the same fate. T-34s do get in range for a couple shots, but that squad should be fine. Paul will probably look for more opportunities elsewhere on the map while his flamethrower gets that under control, and his penal battalion will be forced to retreat after taking a nasty infantry support gun shot. Apparently that mortar is pinned by the infantry support gun shot. A heavy mortar is barraging this area. If it went with precision strike, I think there's a very good chance of wiping those Sturms. They have not moved in forever. T-34s pull back a little bit from the Jagdpanzer, which is just going to hover in the center for now. The infantry support gun is still alive. Raketenwerfer is making its way forward to engage. It's probably revealed even in the fog by that mortar hit. So I think Paul's going to try and move away from it, because he knows it's coming. Raketenwerfer and Jagdpanzer coming means he needs to pull back for some repairs and try to avoid a really scary engagement. Guards taking control of the fuel point. Heavy mortar is eventually going to destroy this structure. Infantry support guns been cleared. Volksgrenadiers will be forced to retreat as well. Stern piles are still alive, slowly making their way back to execute repairs on this thing. Without a battle group headquarters to reinforce and heal near this thing, there's no safe way to get it repaired without just trying to chase away that heavy mortar. I don't think that there's anything he can do to save it, though. Ostwind on the field in addition to the Jagdpanzer. T-34 is moving to engage in this area. Marked vehicle goes down on the Ostwind. He's trying to shoot the plane down. Jaegers will be forced to retreat by the T-34s. Penal Battalion moves left to get control of the victory point. A T grenade connects with that Ostwind, will sustain engine damage, and I think Paul's going to find an opportunity to go in on that here. Jagdpanzer is available to protect, but I don't think that Ostwind is going to survive this engagement. We've also got one Panzerschreck on the flank. I don't know, he's going to trade at least one T-34 for that Ostwind. I'm not sure that was a very good trade. Oh no, main gun destroyed! Wow! Paul should have fully committed. He would have at least been able to destroy that in exchange for those two T-34s. That was a pretty awful trade. Really terrible. He does have the resources for a second set, and it's on its way to the front line now, but he didn't even manage to kill that Ostwind. He needs the second set to do so and take... Basically, he needs to kill that Ostwind without losing an Ostwind in the process. Whether or not he'll be able to, I'm not sure. Here they come. Tier 4 structure is extremely low. T-34s should be able to destroy that. Raketenwerfer and a lot of Panzerschreck squads are available for this engagement. He will take out the Tier 4 structure and, I guess, fully disengage rather than trying to find an opportunity against the Ostwind. He does have to pull back to safety, and look at that, another T-34 goes down, but infantry on the flank will clear the Raketenwerfer. Conscripts moving up from the north, Penals moving in from the west. Pretty lethal engagement on both sides, but Paul trading three T-34s for one Tier 4 structure and no tanks puts him in a really awkward position. Goes to damage the engine of that Jagdpanzer before retreating with that squad of conscripts. This squad of Sturms has a lot of repairs to execute. In addition to the mechanized regiment headquarters is going to take some time. Jagdpanzer with its damaged engine has to pull completely off the field as well. And there's a lot of tank carcasses to salvage here in the center. Oh, that crush! He's gonna lose that squad! No, why wouldn't he retreat that? Full squad of Folks Grenadiers wiped. That's 1 out of 5 Panzerschrecks off the field. Still has a lot to get. Still has a lot to chew through. Jagdpanzer's still alive. Paul will maintain full map control during the course of these engagements and push the OKW completely off the map. But having lost 3 out of 4 T-34 certainly hurts. It's going to have a third set pretty soon though with 39 fuel coming in. OKW map control is just terrible right now. Just blobbing all of his infantry towards the center. If he doesn't send some squads to harass the north flank, he's just going to get outproduced. Simple as that. But his vehicle preservation's been pretty good. His infantry preservation's been okay. So it's really just map control. He really just needs to work on preserving his map control. And I feel like his decision to build his tier 2 way back here in his base rather than set up a forward retreat point is really hurting his ability to hold territory. T-34 is going to harass infantry over here on the left side, forcing away those Volksgrenadiers. Guards retreating away from the center. Ostwind forces away a flamethrower over here, and a couple of squads of Volksgrenadiers are going to make their way towards the south flank. With only 1 T-34 currently on the field, Paul has limited counter-harassment ability. T-34 chases away 1 squad on the north and is moving to try and engage there in the south now, or the east, I guess. Flamethrower should win this engagement. Grenade toss? No, no grenade. Wins the engagement, maintains control of the left side fuel for now. And that Volksgrenadier squad will also be forced to retreat. This one also soon going to be forced to retreat. So all these lone squads being sent to harass just are not accomplishing much. The Jagdpanzer not being sent to assist and help fight this T-34 certainly doesn't help. Ostwind could also be used to try and win harassment engagements, try and push away penal battalions. The Open Commando West vehicles need to move to support the infantry, or they're just not going to accomplish anything. Everything continually getting forced to retreat back to the base. The Jagdpanzer is available here. Ostwind firing on those conscripts, bringing them pretty low. Jagdpanzer getting huge damage. Paul couldn't squeeze through that opening. It might go down. Oh no! Rounds the corner just in time. Jagdpanzer obviously cannot chase. It's not really a chasing unit, especially not around tight corners. But yeah, important to know that a T-34 cannot fit through this opening. I don't think most tanks can. In fact, I don't even know if infantry can go through that. Because of like the elevation. I don't know, I could be wrong. Not as knowledgeable about this map as I probably should be.
Combat unit ready. Taking fire over here! German territory increases.
Heavy mortars forced away by Jaeger lights. And we will see a bit of an... Oh, that was a demo charge. So much for those Volksgrenadiers. That's 2 of 5 wipes now. Might see some replacement squads hitting the field soon, if he can spare the manpower. He's up to 132 fuel though, so he may need to make a fuel purchase instead. Soon. It won't be a tier 4 unit because the tier 4 is destroyed. If he wants to try and make it to King Tiger, that's going to take some time. He needs to try and get that victory point under control. He will have an opening to try and get the right side and fuel while Paul is off the field with his T-34 for repairs. Finishes repairs after taking a lot of hits on that Jagdpanzer. You can see that even damaging a tank is valuable, even if you don't destroy it. Look how much map control he's going to get just because that T-34 was exposed to Jagdpanzer fire for a little bit too long. So even damaging a tank without killing it gives you so much time where you can get map control back. So that's important. Entire map is turning red because that T-34 got pushed off the field. It will move to re-engage now. Gets a nice crush maneuver right there. Volksgrenadier squad has to retreat. The Jagdpanzer brings it low and it's forced off the field for further repairs, but Paul does have knowledge of where that Jagdpanzer is right now, and this is his third set of T-34s going in. If he can find that, if he can catch this Austrian, he's going to let that conscript squad die just for that AT grenade. Then might go down. Raketenwerfer is available to protect, but I don't think that that can survive this. The Jagdpanzer's not in position to protect. It kind of is, actually. It gets a shot on the T-34 there from range. Guards also damaging the Austrians' rear armor, and there it goes. No lucky main gun destroyed crit this time, and Paul will take it out and be able to get away without taking any losses right there, except for a conscript squad. Made a calculated decision to let that conscript squad die in exchange for engine damage, and it was worth it. He was able to destroy the Austrians, so pretty good play. Conscript squad's not that hard to replace if he wants to. Flamethrower is going to retreat away from the south. Sternpile is trying to get that area under control. Heavy mortar doing a little back capping as well. And the T-34s are going to pull back to base for some repairs. This one's already fully repaired. And that Jagdpanzer is pulled all the way back into the OKW base to protect itself from the fact that there are 3 T-34s on the field, I guess. He wants to make sure he has vision on those T-34s and have some supporting Panzerschrecks and possibly the Raketenwerfer, wherever that is. It's in the base as well, nearby when that Jagdpanzer goes to engage. And there's another 100 fuel dropped on an Ostwind. Apparently he feels that an Ostwind is worthwhile to have. He's going to have to be a little more careful with this one, though. Make sure not to let it get in range of engine damage, which is not that easy. But with 3 T-34-85s on the field, those can prove very difficult to keep alive. If you still had a Tier 4 structure, you could go with the slightly more mobile and cheaper Panzer II, but since he doesn't, the Ostwind is pretty much his most mobile, most effective anti-infantry unit, tank. So the rest of this game is going to be pretty much come down to InkyDinky's ability to manage Paul's T-34s. 3 of them currently on the field, another set probably on the way. Victory points still pretty even. Paul at a 100-point deficit. He's been 100 points behind pretty much all game long. Victory points trading hands constantly. 2 T-34s left, 1 right. Guards and Flamer right. Heavy mortar just sitting here for now. Conscripts and Flamers making their way center. Gonna continue working the victory points. Continue working the flanks, engaging at all different points of the map.
Enemy flanking us! Enemy down to 100 points.
Mortar repositioning into a slightly more aggressive place, I guess. Now just rotating a little bit. Penal Battalion and Flamethrower moving up into close range to engage here in the center, but they'll retreat when Paul notices the engagement is way too much for him to take on, especially with those 2 Jaegers and an Ostwind right there. Doesn't get a whole lot of time to engage. Flame bursts don't do all that much damage. Heavy mortar landing in the area brings the Raketenwerfer low, though. If he ever utilizes a precision strike, probably clear that thing out and maybe try and wipe a squad. Doesn't have a ton of munitions to spare, though. Speaking of munitions, over Crandall West might consider throwing down some mines. If you could manage to Paul doesn't have any spare combat engineers to throw a minesweeper on, so if you could catch one of those, catch some T-34s with shoe mines, that would definitely help a lot. Nice counter harassment with the Ostwind right there. That'll force a retreat. Paul's going to move to counter with these T-34s. Ostwind's going to pull back to the safety of the base. Can't really afford to leave your Ostwind exposed for too long when there's T-34s roaming the map. Minesweeper making its way to the left side, victory point. Good decision to throw the Minesweeper on those stern piles, by the way. Paul's only planted 1 demo charge all game, so I don't know if he's going to keep throwing those down when the opportunity presents itself, maybe on the victory point. Try and secure a few more squad wipes, but the fear of demo charges has been put into the Axis. Is going to be sweeping for those now. The engagement for the left flank is won by the Axis, and the clock keeps ticking against Paul. He's having a lot of trouble maintaining control over 2 victory points simultaneously. Volks Grenadier Squad will retreat from that engagement. Dedicated just enough forces to the right side to win that engagement easily against those Volks Grenadiers. We may see a demo charge or some mines planted over here by Paul. He's already thrown a mine right there. I think he's going to go do the same on the other approach. Yep, another mine going down. There's another squad of combat engineers here on the left, plus Penal Battalion moving to take this. Paul can get full control of the flanks. He's I don't know. I don't think flanks is going to be enough. 200 victory points is just way too many to take down on just 2 VPs. I think it's got to engage for the center as well. Jagdpanzer plus Rakettenwerfer force that C-34 back. For some repairs, this one moves up into the center to assist. And Paul will get a triple cap going very soon. Finishes his mines right there before moving to take that strategic point. Conscripts look like they will be successful in grabbing the center away from a Rakettenwerfer, Jaegers, and the 2 vehicles. Wow, second Jagdpanzer. I don't know what I think about that. I guess it makes sense. It'll certainly reduce the amount of effective engagement time those T-34s have, and it'll probably completely negate Paul's ability to aggressively try and kill those things. And Paul's probably going to get another set of T-34s as soon as this one dies. I think he's waiting to have the resources for another set to make an aggressive engagement and try and trade. But yeah, that sheer quantity of AT back there is making Paul very hesitant to do anything. Wow, that heavy mortar though. Big hit right there, that squad's got to retreat. Flamethrower also has to retreat from some infantry on the right side. They do finish taking this point before heading back, but they get wiped. And the guards already have all their weapon slots filled, so those Volks Grenadiers are going to get a free flamethrower. Jaeger Lights taking control of the center VP. And he got the triple cap going for quite a while before he lost control of it though. 50 victory points knocked off the board before being pushed away. Penal Battalion will be able to hold on to the north for a little bit longer as well, forcing away those Sturms. The Austrian probably should have led the charge rather than the Sturm Pios. Now it's going to take that much longer to get a squad over here to get this territory under control. Heavy Mortar has 24 kills and counting. Proving quite nice to have over the course of this game. Always an effective weapon against OKW. Always an effective weapon against everything. Here come the mines. Ouch. T-34 almost seals the deal. Pretty effective use of those defenses. If Paul wanted to be really sneaky, he could throw a demo charge on top of one of those mines and then get like a guaranteed squad wipe. Maybe not guaranteed, but pretty decent chance. That's a lot of munitions though. That is a lot of munitions. Kind of gambling a little bit on this point, by the way. Taking that without minesweeper support. There's like a pretty good chance there would be a demo charge on that. Paul just hasn't planted one. He's going to make another push for the center with these 2 squads. T-34 is making their way to the left side. Wow! Infiltration grenades wipe that conscript squad. T-34 goes in. Jeez. Mines getting planted there in the road. Flamethrower versus flamethrower over here on the left. Ooh, huge hit from the T-34 wins the engagement for Paul. The Jagdpanzers are available in the general area to support. Engine damage on the Austrian means that has to pull back to safety. 2 Jagdpanzers want to move in on the T-34s and push them away, but Penal Battalion is going to get this point back under Paul's control. He's going to stop the clock at about 72 points. Really close. Really close game right now. Paul is closing the gap in victory points slowly. But it's a very methodical process for both of these players to win on this map, and they have to both be very careful and thoughtful about their engagements and which side to send which units to. Because this map's so big, and if you send a unit in the wrong direction and it's forced to retreat, it takes forever for it to be able to get back onto the battlefield. That squad is forced to retreat. Stern Pioneers jumping into close range against those guards. Wow. I don't know why they just retreated. They're probably okay. A freshly repaired Ostwind is making its way to engage here in the center, forces a couple retreats. Meanwhile, the T-34s are all fully repaired, need to get back into engagements as well. Paul maintains control of both flanks for now. The Ostwind could probably retake control of either one if it had support protection from those T-34s. Stern Piles overextended themselves a little, and they've got to pull back to safety. Maybe mortar firing over here on the right side. Force a retreat from those Volksgrenadiers. Jagdpanzer's moving to engage over here on the left side. Need to be careful. Ooh! That was a really lucky crit. Fortunately, Paul has enough support in the area that it'll probably be fine. That one got a little too exposed, though. Those two Jagdpanzers. I wasn't sure if that was a good decision, but yeah, it's going to be completely impossible for Paul to flank those without a really well executed ambush. And even then, I don't know. That's way too much for any quantity of T-34s to take on. They're just so much firepower, especially with one of them being tier 4. Guards flooding the central capture circle, though, are going to set up a triple cap. They might even kill that Ostwind. It's Vet 2, though, so it's starting to fire pretty quick. Should probably start pulling back to safety, though. It's falling dangerously low. I don't know. If it had stuck around, I'm not even sure if it would have won that engagement or not. Pulls back for some repairs. The guards will set up the triple cap and keep it going with the T-34 on the left, preventing that harassment. No attempt at the right side. The clock's ticking very quickly against InkyDinky, and if he doesn't do something, it's going to run out of time. Paul has finally pulled even with his opponent. The longer he can keep this triple cap going, the more likely he'll be able to emerge successful this game. He has no manpower, though, so a fourth set of T-34s will probably not be possible. T-34 taking a couple shots at those Jagdpanzers, but it's not going to be able to do anything too serious. Rakettenwerfer moving to take the munitions, and the clock will be slowed by Jägerlights flooding the central capture circle. Penal Battalion sticking around for a while to try and keep that triple cap going for as long as possible. Grenade toss to win the engagement, and the capture will begin. 40 points, 37. Clock is slowed at about 35. T-34 heading right. Try and push away those Jaegers. The two Jagdpanzers need to move to try and kill that thing or just push it away. There's one Panzerschreck squad available here. Apparently there's water right there. Oh, was that a precision strike? No, that was just auto fire. Full squad just got wiped. He's down to only one Volksgrenadier squad remaining. His Ostwind has been repaired. He needs to get that back on the field as soon as possible. Minesweeper will clear the way to the right side victory point. Center victory point falling dangerously low on that squad. That probably ought to retreat. I don't know why you would leave that in this engagement. There's another Ostwind on the field now. Two Ostwinds, two Jagdpanzers, just spamming Ostwinds and Jagdpanzers. In theory, that should be all he needs. Jaeger's just got wiped though. His stern piles are probably not going to succeed in their attempt to decap this point and stop the clock. He needs to field something over here to the left side, but he has no manpower, no infantry nearby. His 4 vehicles are moving to try and make it a really aggressive play against Paul here. His sterns are desperately trying to stop the clock. Will they make it? Yes, they do. They do make it, but Paul will just throw on secure mode and get the point back under his control. The 2 Jagdpanzers are going straight right to try and shut that down. Volksgrenadiers are sprinting for the left side to try and get that victory point and stop the clock. Ostwinds are killing all of Paul's infantry in this area, and they have no T-34 protection at all. Here come the Jagdpanzers firing at range. The point's been captured by Paul, and the clock is ticking against InkyDinky again, and the center point is being contested by Paul's guards. The Ostwind needs to kill them. Kill them faster. I think Paul will decap this point though. There it goes. Only 3 ticks away from the game being over. Volksgrenadiers are too slow to get the point under control. The T-34 on the right side has been destroyed, but that's it. That's the game. Look at that epic finish. An epic struggle for the final 3 VPs on all 3 locations. Wow. I wasn't sure how that one was going to end, but Paul just had the slightly better victory point control, and he sent exactly what he needed to all 3 points to take the game. GG. Allies win.